Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of a weather report. Why not? I kind of seem to do that most of the time. Uh, it is beautifully sunny here now. It is crazy, like it's blue sky and the sun is out. But this morning it was absolutely pouring, and all last night was on and off torrential rain. And so when it actually stopped, it was like dead quiet and really quite spooky. And then when it started to rain again, I was able to go back to sleep. But I know I woke up quite a few times because it went from this really intense loud noise to literally nothing. So this morning, looking out on the paddocks, all of our dams are full and flowing down. The creek has burst its banks. We've got water in the paddocks around the creek line. So there has been some flooding overnight. That's how much rain we had. But then the sun is out and it's amazing, actually quite warm winter's day. As you can see, no beanie today, although I'm kind of regretting that decision because the wet humidity of the air is making it a little bit weird and frizzy. But anyway, we'll deal with that. So yeah, it's been a very wet week and they're predicting some even more rain. So I think there's going to be quite a bit of flooding around, which is not ideal. Luckily, we got our gutters cleaned last week. We had this company come in and actually like vacuum out the gutters, different to just like scooping it out. Apparently, it's a really good way of cleaning everything out. So what we have done is we undid the cap on the pipe that goes into our tank a couple of days ago when there was a few light showers, just to make sure we could like flush out any of the sediment and dirt that was right in the bottom of the drains or the gutters, so that didn't go into our tank. So yeah, getting the gutters nice and clean and fresh before all this heavy rain has been really good, because now, number one, our gutters aren't overflowing, but also we're getting all of the water going into the tank. So we're going to have nice full tanks as we start this winter, which is really good for our water supply. The other thing we've been dealing with this last week is we've had foxes hanging around, which is not ideal, especially with animals like the chickens. We did have a fox attack the chook trailer and kill a few. The electric fence wasn't working in their little area, so that's been fixed. And since then, we haven't had any more be taken or have the fox get in again, so that's really good. But even just here by the shed, the foxes have been hanging out just a couple of meters from the sheep and from the shed. Even when I'm over here working, been going out there and trying to shoo them away. So yeah, they must be out looking for food. The sheep are fine at the moment because they're quite big and they can look after each other as well. If one of them was lame or if there was a lamb, that would be an issue. But and I've got a fox light here at night, so that does tend to scare the foxes away. But fingers crossed, they are okay here most of the time, because they are much bigger than a fox. This week's actually gone by really quickly, and I haven't done a lot of other things farm wise because I have been spending all of my time on market preparation for Lancefield. So as this video goes live, I will be setting up my stall at the All Fibre and Yarn market in Lancefield. So if you're watching this on the morning of the 11th of June and you're in the vicinity of Lancefield, which is only about an hour's drive from Melbourne, then I'd be really excited if you dropped by and said hello. I'll be there with a whole lot of other great hand dyers and makers. So it would be a really great day out on the long weekend. So I've been working on my displays for that. I marked out an area in the shed, put down some tape where the corners would be, and kind of moved the tables that I have around to kind of mimic the space. They're providing the tables, so it's hard to actually really do a setup, but I've done the best I can. I now have an idea of how it's all going to be put together for me, how I'm going to do it, and where I'm going to put particular parts of my display and my products. So I'm really happy with that. But it did take a few tries on a little app with moving tables and stuff around first before I actually did an actual physical run here in the shed. It's taken up a lot of space. So today and tomorrow we'll be packing up and getting all that stuff sorted out and back down and getting ready to pack the car. So all of my rescanning is done. Everything is now in tubs. I've put together DK jumper packs, quite discounted. So if you're at the market, that's one of my market specials. I'm also today working on putting together some little scrap sets. So balls and odds and ends, sort of making up about, I think, probably 50 to 60 grams of yarn into little bags of all different colorways just mixed together. So they're sort of like grab bags of color rather than mini skein sets as such. So that should be fun. So there'll be something else that you can see at the market. And I've also done some sock sets, so combined full skeins with mini skein sets. Sort of takes the decision-making process out of choosing your sock color and contrast color. So I've matched some together of my colors so that you can just grab it and start knitting almost straight away. So my online shop is now closed and will reopen on Tuesday. While I'm away on a market, I do like to not have the shop open just because it confuses the inventory a bit and I don't have to think about two things at once. So it will reopen on Tuesday and anything that I have left over from the market will be listed. So come check that out if you can't make it to Lansfield. Today I am wearing my Radiate by Joji Locatelli. It is in the brown is the Wattlebark by Bennett and Gregor. So it's the same yarn as the jumper I was wearing last week. And this green is by Colleen's Crafts. And it is actually the green that I am using in the True Stripes jumper that I'm knitting now. So seeing a lot of the same yarns, but this used up the rest of the brown. It's a bracelet length sleeve, so it's actually really good for working and doing things around here in the shed because I normally push my sleeves up anyway. And as I said, it's a little bit warm today, so I'll probably end up taking this off actually, but it is a good jumper for being over here in the shed. This is the second Radiate that I made because I love the pattern so much and I would absolutely make it again. I really enjoyed knitting it and I enjoy wearing it. It's a really good fit and I think it's a really good use of a variegated or a coloured yarn at the top to really highlight it and then to use a really nice solid for the rest of the jumper. I cast on my second Opal Party Confetti Party sock. I don't know what the yarn's called, it's in German. So I've done the increases for the toe in the sparkly yarn and I've just started with the pink for the stripes. I'm hoping that I've started in the right spot in the ball so that I get the same number of stripes here, or same number of rows. It was slightly less than the actual repeat of the pattern. So I'm going to have to count my rows as I go. And I think I'll just fudge it a little bit and pull some yarn out so that I make it match pretty much the same. So I don't have to have them slightly off. And then I know exactly where I'm going to be putting in the heel and where I'm going to be putting in the cuff. I've also made more progress on my True Stripes jumper. I showed you the back and the front last week. They were completely done. And I said that I would have a sleeve finished this week. I don't know what it is about sleeves. I feel like they take so much longer than a big piece of body. I have no idea why. I think part of it is body I was just doing straight. There was no increases or decreases or anything until I got right near the top. With the sleeves, I'm doing increases every 9 rows, which is not too hard to count when you've got your stripes, but it kind of means that I can't just mindlessly go on it. So as you can see, I'm doing, this is the first sleeve still. And I've done a fair bit, but I am not finished with the increases yet. What I'm doing is I'm just writing down what color I've done the increase in. So then hopefully for the next sleeve, I can just tick off the color sequence of where the increases go and I don't have to be quite so vigilant with the counting of rows in between. I can just like look for the next color that I need to increase in. So the colors again is the green is Colleen's Crafts, the purple is also Colleen's Crafts, the cream is a Wangaratta Woolen Mills, the yellow with the pops of color is Mango Daiquiri by Fluff and Nonsense, and the cuff is Old Miller Green by The Knitting Man Recommends. So the sleeve is getting there. I'm really disappointed. I wanted to have a full sleeve done, but I am still really enjoying it. So my main focus of knitting for the next week will definitely be on this, maybe with a little bit of sock knitting in between. And that's all I have. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.